Well, for the listeners that might not know anything about you, could you just maybe say a bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Scarlett. I wrestle for Kiwi Pro Wrestling. We're based here in Wellington, but we do shows up and down the country as well. I've been wrestling since about April 2012. I debuted, and been training for a little while before that.
How long have you been in the local wrestling scene, Scarlett?
If we talk about how long I've been around, it's a very, very long time. I might show up my age if I say how long, but since the beginning of time. But yeah, I remember going to like Mania shows up in Auckland many, many years ago, well over 10 years ago. And I've been following it for a very long time. I was living down in Christchurch, so I used to fly up and down the country just to watch the wrestling shows. So it's been a big part of my life for a very long time, that's for sure.
Now, you had a match not long ago, just this weekend past. Who was that against?
I faced off against Just Plain Evil, JPE. She wrestles out of Maniacs United in Auckland. So it was at the KPW Cosy Carnage show. I turned up there expecting to be facing Nurse Payne for the KPW Women's Championship, but unfortunately, Nurse Payne, well, it's a fantastic thing she did. She actually donated a kidney, legitimately, not wrestling storylines or anything like that. She actually selflessly donated a kidney to someone who needed it earlier this month, so she wasn't fit to wrestle.
I mean, that did sound like a crazy storyline, and to hear that was a real thing, it's awesome.
Yeah, it does, eh? It sounds pretty unbelievable. She told me she was just having a minor operation, but that's Nurse Payne for you. She's very, very humble and very, very quiet with her amazing achievements, so I have to take my hat off to her. She is amazing.
Now, I understand that you got the win this past weekend with the help of my old mate from the Kingdom of Pretty.
I didn't need Holly's help. Queen Holly, she and I go back a very long time, definitely. We've not always seen eye to eye, and we were having a chat about that on the weekend, but I definitely didn't need her to take out JPE. I fought JPE a few weeks back in Blenheim as well for Southern Championship Wrestling, and she needed a chair. She hit me in the head with a chair to get the win there, so it's not like I'm a pushover. But having Holly got a bit fired up with JPE's antics. So yeah, she may have counted a little bit quickly on the 3, but yeah, I had the shoulders pinned to the mat. I still got the win legitimately.
I've got to see if I can bump into Holly at some stage. She still owes me $20.
Yeah. I'm sure she'll have something to say about that. Need to track her down.
Okay. Do you still get nervous when you're heading out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there'd be something wrong with you if you didn't get nervous. Even if you're confident going into a match, just that couple of seconds before you go through the curtain when your music hits, you just kind of think, here we go. It's like going down a roller coaster. Once you start, you can't stop. So it's all full steam ahead. So yeah, still get the nerves, but I think with every match I'm having, the nerves are about different things. It's just about hoping that the crowd will get behind you, and you don't so much freak out about tripping over your own feet and things. I had a terrible run when I was with New Zealand Wide Pro Wrestling. It seemed like every single show I would trip over coming up or down the ring steps, and I just got to the point I don't use the steps anymore. It's just a jinx for me. So yeah, so you learn what you get scared of, and you just avoid it, really.
Okay, if you could wrestle sort of any female wrestler from any sort of time period, who'd you wrestle?
It has to be Victoria Tara. She's huge inspiration for me. An amazing woman. So yeah, I'd face her. And if we picked her at any sort of part of her career, right now she's looking phenomenal. She's stronger than she's ever been. She's so fit and agile. So yeah,
and from what I understand, she's a free agent at the moment, so we could bring her over here.
Yeah, if you'd like to bring her over to New Zealand, I'll face her. I'd be more than happy to do that. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Especially she's free, yeah.
Okay, have you had a favourite match over your years of wrestling?
Yeah, I've had a few. Definitely facing off with Nurse Payne last year at KPW Halloween Hell. We had a really good little match for the women's title. It was a shame that I didn't come up with it, but I was pretty green, so but I really enjoyed that match. And yeah, they're all favourites really. But I think every time you go out there, you learn a little bit more. I have to admit, the most fun match I've had was for the Hughes Academy up in Auckland. My intended opponent was injured about literally 20 minutes before the match started, and we were racing around trying to figure out something, and we decided that it would be a good idea for me to face off against a young gentleman named Danger Donahue, so I got to beat up a boy.
Yeah,
Cool.
and that's not a usual situation in pro wrestling, is it?
No, generally they try and keep the boys and the girls apart. Just, I think there's a little bit of a, bit of a sexism thing going on there. They think the girls can't run with the boys, but there's definitely a few girls around New Zealand. We can definitely go toe to toe with the boys. So
we see it a bit more in New Zealand as well. Like there's been the mixed rumble style matches as well.
Yeah. And I think as long as you're in there and you know what you're doing, then there's no problem. Clearly, if I get punched in the face by a guy, I'm going to go down. But when it comes to just technical wrestling and stuff like that, yeah, there's a lot of girls around New Zealand that can just definitely hold their own. We've got some amazing talent at the moment. So it's good when we do get to mix it up with the guys. And I think even those little interactions and rumbles and things, you're always going to learn something that you can take into your next match against the female opponent. And
Yeah,
it just makes it a little bit better.
I think personally, if there's anywhere where there's been massive growth in New Zealand, and probably the most impressive I've seen, it would be the women's divisions across all of the different wrestling federations in New Zealand.
I think, we all know we've got to try a little bit harder. We don't want to be just a fluff match on the show. It's not just out there for, for eye candy or anything like that. The girls really set the bar. You've definitely got the girls in IPW, and Evie is amazing. And she sets the bar for female wrestling, not just in New Zealand, but, we're seeing globally. She's made such a name for herself. So when you've got someone setting a standard like that, you really... You know you've got to up your game. You can't just get out there and pull some hair and have a cat fight. You've got to get out there and wrestle a good, strong match.
So, Scarlett, coming up, when's your next big fight?
I've got one coming up this Saturday facing JPE again, so that'll be the third time I've faced up with her. It's for the Guns and Hoses charity event in Masterton, so it's a police versus fire service boxing show, which is going to be pretty interesting to be part of. There's 1,600 tickets sold already, so it's going to be absolutely
Wow,
crazy.
that's going to be an amazing crowd.
Yeah, insane. So I'm really looking forward to that, just for the feeling of walking out in front of that many people and giving them a bit of a taste of Kiwi wrestling. And then after that, I've got another bout scheduled for September for Maniacs United up in Auckland, facing off against Angel.
Oh, wow.
So it's really exciting. She's teeny tiny, so I can just hiss her around. I can't wait to do that.
Yeah, just going to throw her around the ring.
Yeah, pretty much. I love suplexing people, so I want to just sort of see how far I can throw her. It's going to be a lot more fun than it should be. I shouldn't take so much pleasure in throwing small people around, but, if I can, I might as well do it.
That's the one.
Yeah. And then, the biggest show, all of these matches are really just feeding in and training me up towards November the 2nd. We've got Halloween Hell, which is definitely the biggest show for Kiwi Pro Wrestling for the year. And that's my women's championship match. So it's all, my eyes are on the prize, so to speak.
Yeah, so this is the big match that you just earned the right to compete in.
Yeah. So I've got that number one contenders spot. So I'm not risking losing that again. So I'm focused on that. Yeah.
Are we going to be seeing more of KPW up this end of the country?
I'd say so, yeah. I think you'll definitely be seeing a lot of our roster members up, especially around the Auckland area. We did shows in Tauranga and things as well, so hopefully we'll be back there. But we've got Graham Hughes, who's a fantastic wrestler from the UK. He's now based out of Auckland, and he's now started the Hughes Academy of Professional Wrestling. So they are training up-and-coming wrestlers up there, and they ran a show in May. And I'd say there'll be more frequent shows happening up there, so we can get all of our guys a bit more exposure in the top of the North Island.
You have to get some more matches here in Hamilton as well.
I'd love to wrestle in Hamilton. I lived in Hamilton for 8 or 9 years. I've got family in Ngāruawā here as well, so yeah, it would be a huge buzz to wrestle in Hamilton. So I'll definitely be pushing for that.
Awesome.
What do you think of the current Divas roster over in WWE?
It's interesting, you feel like you probably shouldn't like them so much because a lot of them don't seem to fulfill what you think a female wrestler should be. Girls like the Bella Twins, they're probably not in there for their skill. But yeah, I watched one of the Bellas, I can't tell the difference, one of the Bellas versus Naomi the other night, and I was actually really impressed with the match. They did really well, and yeah, you miss girls like Beth Phoenix, you miss Lita, Molly Holly, those girls that could get in there and really wrestle. But I think the current Divas they're pretty good. Yeah, we shouldn't mock them just because they're pretty.
And what are your thoughts on the TNA Divas? Oh, what are they called? Knockouts roster.
It's up and down, eh? Like you can't go past Gail Kim. She's amazing. And the ladder match she had with Taryn Terrell, like, people are hyping that as not just a great women's ladder match, just a great straight-up ladder match. And to see girls in there performing at that level, that, it gives you chills, really. So they are fantastic. And, yeah, I think TNA, because they tend to give the girls a little bit more leeway, give them a bit more time, and then you get to really see the talent that they've got. So, yeah, I like it. They've got a good mix. I love ODB. I love,
ODB is awesome.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun to watch, for sure.
So good luck with the upcoming match this weekend.
Emily.
Where can people find tickets?
Tickets for that one, the Guns N' Hoses show, will be at the door in Masterton. So it's Genesis Energy Centre. It's a big rec centre they've got there. And for the other events, Maniacs United in September, you can just get tickets via maniacsunited.co.nz. And Kiwi Pro Wrestling in November through kiwiprowrestling.co.nz. All the information will be available on there shortly. So, yeah, checking out the website. And you can always follow me on Facebook, Facebook.com/Scarlett Wrestler. And no doubt I'll be pumping all of our shows on there.
And, of course, on Twitter as well?
And on Twitter, my Twitter handle is AngieBabyNZ, or you just hunt for Scarlett. You just look for things that Phid's been retweeting. That'll be me.
Okay, well, it's been great talking to you.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
And we can't wait to see you up here in a match in Hamilton.
Yeah, make sure you come along, and I'll make sure that we get there. Definitely, it's on my plan. So just got to get a ring and some other wrestlers, and we'll do it.
Let's go.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Scarlett.
No problem.